In the Wheel of Time Season 3 finale, Matt goes through a red twisted doorframe in Tanchico and meets a mysterious fox-like being called Eelfinn, while Elaida went through a similar doorframe in the White Tower and met Aelfinn, who promised her the Amyrlin Seat. Together, those creatures are referred to as the Finn. Let me explain the lore behind those interesting beings and what it means for Matt. Minor spoiler warning for non-book readers because I will be comparing the events of the show with how it played out in the books.
What is your need?
So the Aelfinn and Eelfinn are two related but distinct non-human races who live in an alternate dimension, separate from the human world and outside the pattern. Both races exist in a world with different laws of reality. Geometry doesn't behave normally, time seems distorted, and the entire place feels like it runs on emotion and thought rather than physics. Their world is accessible through ancient terangrial magical doorways made from red material similar to stone. Two major doorways exist in the Wheel of Time universe, one in Tyr, which leads to the Aelfinn, and one in Ruidian, which leads to the Eelfinn. In the Wheel of Time show, the locations of the doors were changed. The door that leads to Eelfinn is located in Tanchico, specifically in the Panarch's palace. And the door that leads to Aelfinn is located in the White Tower, hidden away in the 13th depository.
What are you?
I am Eelfinn.
Let's start with the Eelfinn. They look like humanoid foxes, tall, graceful, with angular features and golden eyes. They move in strange, slinking ways and seem to exist in a world that doesn't follow the normal laws of nature. Their realm feels like a dream, or more accurately a nightmare with shifting corridors, eerie lights, and illusions that feed off emotion. The Eelfinn will grant 3 wishes to anyone who visits them. But there is a catch. If you don't set a price or terms beforehand, they will choose the price. And they usually choose pain, suffering, or something else that you really don't want to lose. What they actually gain from these deals is unclear, but it's hinted they feed off strong emotions, especially fear, sorrow, and pain. And they extract a price in the form of pain, fear, or life force. They've been known to kill people, trap them forever, or even take their memories in exchange for what they give. You cannot bring iron, fire, or musical instruments because those things hurt or scare the Eelfinn. If you break the rules, they may trap or kill you. Bargaining with them is like making a deal with trickster genie. You might get what you ask for, but not in the way you expect. And of course, Matt wasn't aware of any of this when he stepped through the doorframe. In the show, the fox-like creature asked Matt, "What is your need?" And the first thing Matt unknowingly wished for is to be free of one power.
Eelfinn, what I need is to stop getting bollocked about by every bloody magical force on this bloody planet!
In other words, he wanted to be free of the influence of the One Power and other magical forces. For that, he got a fox head medallion that makes him resistant to the weaves of One Power and protects him from dreamwalkers. Matt's second wish isn't exactly something he clearly asks for. Instead, the Eelfinn noticed something strange. That there are too many memories swirling around in his head, memories that don't belong to him. They offer to help, and Matt, overwhelmed and confused, says something like,
You can fix me.
The Eelfinn agree, but their idea of fixing comes at a cost. While they do take away some of the extra memories, they also strip out pieces of Matt himself. He's left with holes in his memory, unsure of what exactly he has lost. For his third wish, Matt simply asks to be sent back, to leave the Eelfinn world. But he doesn't set any terms, which is a big mistake when dealing with them, so the Eelfinn choose the price themselves. They did return him to his world, but by hanging him from an interesting looking spear that's sticking out of a red twisted doorframe. We will come back to that spear later. And that's the catch, the Eelfinn always takes something in return. In this case it was Matt's life. Thankfully Min was there, she found him just in time and saved his life. Without her, that wish might have been the last thing Matt ever asked for. Now it's important to remember how Matt got these memories in the first place, because it's quite different from the books and I'm not entirely sure where it leaves Matt in the show. In the finale of Season 2, Matt blows the Horn of Valir, and that's the reason he gets the memories of dead heroes from the Age of Legends. Plus, blowing the horn gave him the ability to speak the Old Tongue. In the books, however, Matt had gaps in his memories from his prolonged contact with the cursed dagger. When he first picks up the dagger in Shadar Logoth, it begins to corrupt and consume him from the inside. Over time, it doesn't just affect his body, it starts to erode his mind. He begins to lose chunks of memory and goes through long stretches in a fog, unable to recall things he's said or done. In Book 3, The Dragon Reborn, Mat is healed from his connection to the Shadar Logoth dagger. But unlike the show where Moraine severs Mat's connection to the dagger, in the books the healing takes place in the White Tower, in Tar Valon, performed by a group of Aes Sedai, including the Amyrlin Seat, Swan Sanche, Liane, the Keeper of the Tower, Varen, and others, with the help of a powerful sangreal. It was a risky and intense process, but it successfully broke the dagger's hold over Mat, though not without lasting consequences. During the intense healing process, he resisted the separation, shouting in the Old Town a battle cry from Manetheren. By the time he's healed, whole portions of his life are missing. That's why when Mat later enters Eelfinn realm in Book 4, The Shadow Rising, one of the things he wishes for is the holes in his memory to be filled. But instead of giving him back his own memories, the Eelfinn grant him the memories of other men, generals, warriors, soldiers from long-lost cultures. A chaotic patchwork of memories from all long-dead men who had once entered their realm. Eelfinn had held on to those memories, feeding on them over time, and passed them on to Mat as part of their strange bargain. And now all of that is crammed into Mat's head. Before he didn't remember his own past, but suddenly he remembered how to win 100 battles. So yes, in the books the dagger created the holes and the Eelfinn filled them, just not with the memories Mat expected. Similarly to what happened in the show, Mat visits their realm, but through a different portal. He enters Eelfinn realm through Ruidian, where Mat traveled with Rand. Same as in the show, Mat asks for protection from the One Power and a way out of the world. From this exchange, Mat leaves with a medallion that makes him immune to direct magical attacks, and the Eelfinn fulfilled the third wish by sending him back, but nearly dead, hanging from an Avendasora tree, with an interesting spear placed in his hands. As Rand emerges from the glass columns, he finds Mat hanging from the tree and immediately cuts Mat down, saving his life. We actually got a quick glimpse of the spear in the show. It's the one Mat was hanging from before Min saved him. This spear or staff is called Ashandarai. I will not reveal the importance of that item, not to spoil anything, but besides that, it will become Mat's signature weapon, and we saw how proficient he is with the staff. Now, the reason Mat traveled to Ruidian with Rand is because the Aelfinn told him he had to. Speaking of the Aelfinn, we actually saw Elaida come out of the portal in the White Tower after meeting with them. She tells Alvirin that they promised her the Amyrlin Seat. But how could that be? So, Aelfinn, tall snake-like creatures with narrow eyes and odd movements, specialize in prophecy, or answering questions. They allow humans to enter their world and ask 3 questions and they will answer truthfully, as long as the questions are about the future. The Aelfinn seem to be able to read the pattern much more clearly than anyone else. They might even exist partly outside of time, which allows them to see possible or probable futures all at once. They do not offer guidance in the traditional sense. Instead, their answers are cryptic, often phrased in metaphors, riddles, or symbolic language. But over time, these prophecies often prove to be accurate. Their knowledge is dangerous because, while it's true, it can easily be misunderstood or self-fulfilling. I think it's almost certain that Elaida asked something related to gaining the Amyrlin Seat. Beyond that though, it's hard to say for sure because it never happened in the books. If her visit happened after her foretelling that the royal line of Andor would be crucial to the last battle, then she might have asked about the Dragon Reborn. I hope they will reveal this information in later seasons because I'm very curious. But let's go back to Mat and his interaction with Aelfinn in the books, which happened before he visited Eelfinn in Ruidian. I hope I'm not confusing you. Okay, in the book 4, The Shadow Rising, Mat is increasingly aware that his fate is tied to the prophecies of the Dragon Reborn. However, Mat is not someone who believes in fate or destiny. He wants to avoid being controlled by prophecy, and he's trying to figure out what role he plays in the last battle. His links to the powerful Horn of Valir and his connection to the Dragon Reborn make him feel like he needs to learn more about what's ahead for him, and so he decides to visit the Aelfinn in the city of Tyr and learn more about his future. So Matt steps through the twisted stone doorway to Rangriel and enters the world of Aelfinn. There he's allowed to ask 3 questions. At the time he's thinking about going back to the Two Rivers, so his first question is, should I go home to help my people? And the Aelfinn reply, you must go to Rhuidean. That leads to his second question, why should I go to Rhuidean? Their answer, if you don't go to Rhuidean, you will die. Naturally, Matt pushes further, asking, why will I die if I don't go to Rhuidean? And the Aelfinn respond, you will have sidestepped the thread of fate, left your fate to drift on the winds of time, and you will be killed by those who do not want that fate fulfilled. Matt being Matt isn't satisfied. He keeps demanding to know what fate they're talking about. Normally, the Aelfinn only answer 3 questions and that's it. But this time was different. Rand had just been there before him, and both Rand and Matt are Taviran, people who bend fate around themselves. The Aelfinn, who are very sensitive to changes in the pattern, were feeling the strain of 2 huge destinies hitting their world at once. Their realm was twisting under pressure, and the Aelfinn were clearly overwhelmed. In a rush to get Matt out and ease the tension, they gave him way more information than usual. It was like a cosmic customer service rep trying to wrap up a wild call fast before the whole system crashes. Instead of just answering 3 questions, they ended up dropping a full-on prophecy on him. The Aelfinn told Matt that his fate was to marry the daughter of 9 moons, to die and live again and live once more a part of what was, and to give up half the light of the world to save the world. I won't break down these prophecies as I don't want to spoil it for anyone, including myself, because I haven't finished reading the series. But perhaps in the future I will make a video entirely dedicated to Matt and his fate, but once I finish the books. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and let me know what did you think of Matt's journey to the realm of Eelfinn in the show. I'll be going through all the comments and answering your questions, and I'll see you in the next video.